I think the problem with that show is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in. You know, and they always bring on a token conservative woman and they yell over her and silence her. And, you know, they did that with Meghan McCain, and they did that with what is that other blonde woman from Survivor? Do you remember her, Jamie? She was always yelling. I mean, it's
Joe Rogan is once again destroying the woke host of The View, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and the rest of them, as he sits down with Coleman Hughes, who recently went on The View and had a couple of viral videos off of that, because Coleman Hughes went on The View and tried to look Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of them in the eye and say, if we want to fix class-based problems, we should probably look at, like, if we're trying to solve the issue of class, we should probably look at class rather than the color of people's skins. And because they don't want to help people who are white, they only want to help people who are not white, they had an issue with that. Especially Sunny Hostin took great issue with that, which makes zero sense to me, and it makes zero sense to Joe Rogan, which is why Joe Rogan goes off on them in this clip here from the Joe Rogan Experience with Coleman Hughes and Joe Rogan. Let's check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, I saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days.
Yeah, is that annoying?
No.
No?
No. I mean, it's just, when I was on there, I really had no idea how it was going to land with the audience. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character.
By the way, I did a video on that clip already, so if you haven't seen it, you can go check that out. But just to give you kind of a somewhat of an idea of what happened there, because I don't believe they show it in this clip here. Sunny Hostin heard what Coleman Hughes was trying to say, what he's trying to tell Joe Rogan here as well. And it's it's not a right-wing position. I don't think this guy is a conservative. He actually shot down the fact that he could be a conservative on The View. But when Sunny Hostin on The View looked this guy in the face and called him a charlatan, like right to his face, after he stated his positions, which they don't seem very unreasonable to me. And most other lefties out there don't think that they're unreasonable. It's only the diehard woke cultists like Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin and the rest of The View that have an issue with Coleman Hughes' point of view.
In that way. And I responded to it in the moment, as I do. And I didn't expect it to go as viral as it did, but I think it arguably went more viral than anything I've ever done. It's hard for me to totally tell, but I've just got people messaging me almost nonstop for like 4 days afterwards.
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies infested hen house.
and at the same time, it seemed like the most interesting part was their audience seemed to be on my side.
Yes.
And that's their audience.
Yes. Well, their audience is not really their audience. Their audience is a group of people they bring in to watch television shows. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen audiences before for TV shows, but a lot of them are paid. They're paid to be there. So, because they have to guarantee that there's going to be people there. So there's services that you hire. And when a show gets...
And also, like I was saying, the positions of Coleman Hughes are not crazy. They're very, like, it's normal common sense stuff. If you want to solve the issue of class, maybe you should look at the class and socioeconomic status of the people rather than the color of their skin. It makes no sense to look at the color of their skin because, yes, if you look at the issue of class, disproportionately, there's going to be darker complexion people who are poorer than lighter complexion people. Okay, that is true, but it's still going to help the darker complexioned people. I have to dance around certain words because, you know, you understand, I'm sure. It's still going to help the darker complexioned people if it's disproportionately going to show that those people have an issue with their class, with their status, if we look at those things. But if we just look at race, then the white people, the lighter complexioned people, get zero help whenever they still suffer with those same issues of class, of socioeconomic status. So it makes complete sense what Coleman Hughes was trying to say on The View, but it doesn't matter what makes sense, what's common sense, what checks out logically or factually with those people. It's all about, are you furthering the woke cult? If no, I don't like you and you're a charlatan.
It's really, really popular. You know, like Letterman or something like that. Obviously, it has its own fan base.
Right.
Those people will try to get tickets before anybody else does. And in that case, they probably don't need to use a service anymore. They just get actual fans. But arguably, like the fans, the real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point. Most of those people can't leave the house. Like they're probably immobile.
Right. Because their mom's taking their kids to school and that's,
It's a very strange show, but it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch them.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Well, they're just...
Have you guys ever met a fan of The View? I've never met someone who's like, loves The View, ever, in my life. Let me know in the comments if you've ever met someone like that. I can't imagine the kind of avatar that would be of a person who is a super fan of The View.
You know, it's interesting because I think Sunny is very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
You know, that's what I think the other ones, there's a couple of the other ones don't have to name any names, who are just very dull-minded. But I think Sunny's not one of them. I think she's smart, but
Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar, you know, very easily can name those two.
captured.
Sure.
And
I think she came into it with an agenda.
of course,
You know,
they do everything with an agenda.
Yeah.
You know,
she came into it, it seems, really wanting to paint me as someone that has been co-opted by the right wing.
yeah.
And I don't know how much research she had done into me. She claimed to have read my book twice, which is almost certainly not true.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
Yeah. Ben Shapiro should debate Destiny.
Oh my God. I know they
Get the
did.
two of them together.
They did debate.
Did they really?
Yeah, absolutely. They
About
did.
what?
Who hosted them? Was it Lex?
Was it?
I could be getting that wrong, but I think Lex hosted a debate like 2 months ago.
Well, he had a debate a couple of months ago, but it was a Palestine.
No, that was
Israel
separate.
debate.
I
Yeah.
also saw that.
Oh,
That was like
they
the
did.
4 hours. Yeah, there you go.
That guy debates everybody.
Yeah.
He's so ridiculous. He does
Yeah.
a Wikipedia search and then just starts going after things like he's an expert.
Yeah.
It's just it was a fun time. It's
Yeah.
a really fun time.
Yeah.
A fun time for
Entertaining.
I
watching.
like how Destiny's also catching strays here. Saying I think Joe Rogan's talking about Destiny here, where he was like, that guy is so funny. He does a Wikipedia search and thinks he knows everything on a topic. I don't know. He's either talking about Destiny or Ben Shapiro. It's equally as funny. I don't like either one. So it's funny that either Destiny or Ben Shapiro is catching strays here. Let me know in the comments which one you think it is.
Watching people flail.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I think the problem with that show is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in. You know, and they always bring on a token conservative woman and they yell over her and silence her. And, you know, they did that with Meghan McCain and they did that with what is that other blonde woman from Survivor? Do you remember her, Jamie? She was always yelling. I mean, it's
I think she worked for Valuetainment. I think she recently left Valuetainment, but I think it was Jedediah, right? Jedediah Bila or something like that. And then now they have that, I think her name's like Alyssa Griffin or something like that. But yeah, they're not actually conservative. Like, if you're actually conservative, they'll fire you, which is why they fired the other hosts that were like the token conservative woman. This one is like fake conservative, and that's why she's able to keep her job for so long. And they still silence her every single time she talks. They still shut her down every time she talks because she has like a hint of non-wokeness within her, and they still silence her. So I personally think that The View, all of these people, the only reason why The View is still in the air is for propaganda reasons. I think they're paid off by someone. I'm not going to say who, but I think they're paid off by people to stay on the air, because there's no way there's no way that The View, people sitting there listening to Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin, there's no possible way that show generates money. There's no way that show generates revenue, or at least enough to stay on air. There's just no way. So they have to be getting paid by someone to spew these talking points, which is why they're so serious about it. They're so cult-like about it. And that's how they're able to stay on air.
a bizarre show.
So we had 8 minutes, and America's approach to race, pretty big topic, pretty important topic.
I think the way you
So-
before you start, I think the way you described it is brilliant, and the way we should all look at it. Of course, you're going to see race.
Yes.
The idea of being colorblind is ridiculous, but
Right.
treat everybody. They're just human beings.
Yeah.
Everybody's just individuals.
That's right.
That's what we should all hope for.
That's right. Yeah, there's been this common phrase. I don't.
Not a very unreasonable ask, right? Not a very unreasonable stance. Yet Sunny Hostin took extreme exception to that, and so did Whoopi Goldberg and the rest of them, enough to even call him a charlatan to his face.
See race. That's equated with colorblindness. And
Yeah.
point of my book is I want to say, get rid of that. Of course we see race, certainly in America, in the West. You could argue about whether children really see race, but past a certain point, we see race. Point is not to pretend you don't see it. It's to say, you know, you're a white guy, I'm a black and Hispanic guy. We notice that. We're not going to pretend it's not there, but whenever it matters, I'm going to try to treat you like an individual based on your personal qualities, and we're going to ask the government to do the same. Get race out of public policy. If you want to help disadvantaged people, do that on the basis of class.
100%. And understand that when you see these incentives that are put into corporations, these are methods of control. And that's what's going on when you see things like DEI initiatives.
It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous, and it's just another tactic to divide us further whenever there's stuff like DEI or anything, any race-based policy. It's just a tactic to further divide us, and it should be obvious to everyone, but somehow, you know, the people, the powers that be have created these agents such as The View, and people who don't get paid for it, you know, people who are just random users on Twitter who attack Coleman Hughes and this belief, this stance that he has. They've created these agents that will do their work for them, that will stop us from stopping the division between the races. And they do it under the guise of ending racism. In fact, they're protecting racism. It's like they're racism's PR team or something, and they won't let us stop it. It's wild to me. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Joe Rogan and Coleman Hughes just destroying The View once again. I mean, Joe Rogan has been going off on The View recently, and I love to see it, man. And we even got Ben Shapiro or Destiny catching strays in this one too. Let me know what you thought about this clip here from the Joe Rogan Experience. What do you think about Coleman Hughes' stance in general? If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and hope to see you guys on the next one.